tractor. It's a tractor. Hey, people! People! Yeah, this is awkward. Awkward, I'm filming them. Tractor. Jump cut.
Hi!
Gentlemen, my name's Audie Perry. I'm the Executive Director of the Heritage Farm Foundation, and we're thrilled to have you with us this morning. We're going to be talking about the industries of West Virginia as we go around. Okay. All right, let's hold on. Let me tell you some rules before we get on the wagon. Listen up. Listen up. All right. So it is very bouncy, so you need to make sure everybody stays seated except for our 3 adults who
So
will need to hang over that bouncy covered bridge. Then we'll go see some animals, talk about a little early industrial agriculture, and then we'll make a pit stop. And then we'll end up at the Museum of Industry and talk about some of those large-scale industries. What's that? While we're on the wagon, sure. Yeah. And then we'll talk about a little bit later stuff.
You care more about that mom?
Yeah, probably.
She cares more about that mom. She doesn't lie.
What?
Someone behind the Old Barn Church, originally built in 1850.
I knew that was a church.
That beautiful hand-hewn log structure is older than the entire state of West Virginia, which did not come online until 1863. We're going to be using that benchmark year of 1850 quite often in our discussion of the industries of West Virginia, because that was the benchmark year kind of that changed from an agricultural industry and to others. Hang on tight, here's the bouncy covered bridge! Woo-hoo! Oh, yeah!
It's the smoothest ride I've ever had. So great. No, Dustin, you're wrong. No, Dustin, you're not doing it right. It's like this.
You know, the covered bridge is actually a great example of how smart and creative our ancestors were. Not only were they able to help the bridge longer by protecting the wood floorboards from rain and snow, but it also made it easier for the animals to cross over because it looked like they were walking through a bog instead of open ravine. Now, we're going to go see some of those farm animals which were crucial to that agricultural industry. You know, there's cattle not only for their milk and their beef, but also to get work done. And then goats and sheep,
That's a
not
big
only
cow,
for their
boy.
meat, but in sheep's case, also for clothing items, using their wool. And the pigs, now, pigs were a fast-growing source of protein. They used every part of the pig except the oil. The 2 long-haired red cattle, those are Scottish Highlanders. They are a heritage breed. That is actually the type of cattle that our ancestors brought over when they settled the Appalachian Mountains. And then, of course, the horse and the donkey were critical in not only transportation, but getting work done. A farmer could do about 10 times as much produce with animal power than he could with just human power alone. Up top there you see some Jacob sheep. Jacob sheep are another heritage breed, one of the oldest breeds of sheep in the world. Derived their name from a story in the book of Genesis. So they've been around a long time. They have spotted wool and 4 horns. What do you call the place where sheep go to get their haircut? The barber shop.
Please shut up. No.
What do you call the place where rabbits go to get their fur worked on?
Please, no.
The hair salon.
Oh, my God.
What did Mr. Buffalo say to his kid when he left for school?
What?
Bye, son.
Okay.
And we are in the land of the American bison. We're also in Marshall Thundering Herd Country, so ours is named Marco. He's only 3 years old and already weighs over 1,200 pounds. In the next few years, he'll grow to be 2,100 pounds. Beautiful animal. American bison were in the Appalachian Mountains long before we were, but by the year 1900, there were only 500 bison left. Today, there are over 500,000, so it's a great preservation success story and a good reminder that we can solve problems if we work together, even ones we've accidentally made along the way.
Is that a giant brush?
Now,
That's
as
a
we
giant
talk
brush.
about the industries of West Virginia, we're going to run into that topic quite often as we discuss what was at one time a plentiful resource and how we've, in some cases, overused it to the point where the world couldn't provide it anymore.
Broke down.
All right. No, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit.
Gas.
So let me ask you a question. We're talking about industries. What are some industries in West Virginia?
Salt, coal.
Well, yeah, they're actually education industry, absolutely. Salt industry, coal industry, healthcare industry, glass.
Salt!
Fred.
Fred!
Lots of good. So what is an industry? I mean, those are examples, but what is industry? Yeah.
You get minerals.
Okay. So
Lumber.
industry is a collection of businesses, types of businesses. But at the core of all industry is the exchange of money, right? We're paying for something. And if you think about it, every time you spend money, you're trying to solve a problem, either real or perceived, whether it's food or healthcare or entertainment or
Friends and happiness.
education, right? Every time you spend money, you're trying to solve a problem. So the interesting thing about that, at the core of every commerce is problem solving. And the great thing about it for us is our ancestors were incredible problem solvers because they had to figure out how to do everything themselves. They couldn't rely on people in the big cities to supply everything for them. So we ought to be some of the most entrepreneurial people in the country. Have you heard that word before, entrepreneurial? People who come up and make a business on their own,
Pictures on the internet.
take a risk and do something new. That's our heritage, so it's kind of cool what may be the industries of tomorrow. But let me ask you a question. Are things better today or worse than they were back then?
Slightly better.
Okay, I got some votes for better, for some worse. Give me some examples of how life is better today than it was back in 1850.
Well, we got hospitals.
Walmart.
Okay, I hear. So we don't necessarily have to make everything ourselves. We can go to Walmart, right?
Technology.
Technology.
Oh, that part you heard.
The school, you can get school in many different locations. Back in the past, that was difficult. Very good. Now, what are some ways in which it's worse today? Drug pollution, right? Yeah, so it's interesting. The more, quote, free time that we've given ourselves, we actually don't spend it well. That's one of our issues. The reason I'm walking you through that is, remember, at the core of every industry is problem solving. So if you can identify what problems there are, you just identified what industry there's going to be tomorrow. If you're passionate about the helping the drug problem, well, then perhaps you want to study pharmacology, or you want to study how to help people live better or in recovery, right? If your passion was about pollution, maybe you want to study environmental science or understand how to organize nonprofit organizations to change that problem. If one of your passions is making better vehicles, maybe you want to figure out how to be a welder or a mechanic. And see. So whatever you identify that you're passionate about in solving the problem to make it better, you just identified maybe what you want to do to make the world a better place. You guys are in 8th grade, so everybody's asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And that's a hard question, right? You're like, because you don't know what jobs there's going to be 15 years from now. But if you can figure out how to solve a problem, you will always be needed, because the world is always looking for problem solvers. And let me give you a boost from being fellow Wayne Countyans. Look at this. Somebody in your family was amazing.
Okay.
Think of how many challenges they overcame to make your life possible. You know, we're looking at this house here. That's actually 3 houses put together of what a house would have looked like back in 1850, made of logs and stone. Somebody in your family built their own home. That's amazing.
cool.
My house, if I had to build my house, it'd be like 2 sticks in a Walmart bag, right? I mean, that is amazing. Somebody in your family built their own home. Somebody in your family grew all their own food. Has anybody here eaten a meal that's totally been produced from their own land in the last week? That is awesome. Do you realize how blessing that is? Most of us get all of our food from somewhere else. If that source disappeared, we couldn't even support ourselves. These people did that not only one day, but their whole life. It's amazing the amount of ingenuity and creativity and hard work that somebody in your family sacrificed to make your life possible. They also made all their own clothes. I would be embarrassed to stand before you today in something that I had to make, right? And they were able to protect their family against everything that came against it, or you and I wouldn't even be here. So we have an incredible heritage of people who solve problems every day. And so the beauty is, that's in us too. That's what we can do to make the world a better place for the next generation. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the ride going again. We're going to talk more about how these houses were made, and then we'll make a stop in the Industry Museum to talk about some of those larger industries that you all mentioned here a few minutes ago. All right, here we go. Like that Woodbury Inn, they brought down those trees, shaped them into rectangular logs for their building, and then they quarried off the stone from that rock ledge higher up on the mountain. Now, as you look up on that hill, you see some pretty good-sized trees by today's standards. But these trees we see today are nothing compared to what our ancestors found when they came to this area of the world. The average circumference of a tree back then was 16 feet. The trees you're looking at today are like 2 or 3 feet. So that's because what we now call West Virginia, that area has been clear cut at least twice since 1850. So you think of all the trees that you passed from your home to school to here, none of those trees that you saw are more than 60 or 90 years old, depending on the last time it was all clear cut. When we go to the Industry Museum, I'll show you what a cross-section of an average tree was back in the day, and you'll understand why this area was developed differently than other parts of the country. This farm is 800 acres. There's only one original growth tree in the whole farm. He's over 350 years old.
Burning rubber.
If you look up on the hillside there, you see one of the original rock quarries for this area. That center stone still has the drill holes and the blasting marks on it. You can they would pour black powder down the drill hole, light the fuse, and they would blast off the face of the rock. Then they used their stone axes and chisels to shape the blocks into the squares and rectangles they needed for their building stones. How they did that without modern day machinery really is amazing. Like that stone right there weighs over 1,000 pounds. How they moved it without a crane or a bulldozer or a tractor is amazing. They did it using their brains and their muscles in something called the Six Simple Machine. Wheel and axle, incline plane, levers, wedges, pulleys, and screws are still how we get work done today. But we've just added different power sources. All right, so I'm going to open up your gate if you want to hop out and just form a group there in front of that door, and then we'll all go in together.
Nice. It's closed, but it has a train on it. Cool. Why does this make me feel like I'm looking at a narrow gauge car?
When did you get that stick on the back of it? What stick did you have? When did you get that?
So we're going to go